So, as most of you know, I'm a huge Android fan, but I recently switched over to iOS just for a change of scenery. Of course, I'm definitely missing the customization features of Android and everything, but for the most part, I'm pretty comfortable with iOS for now. For the past month or two, I've switched and I've been using the iPhone 7 Plus and the stainless steel Apple Watch, and I pretty much have zero complaints so far. I've been thinking about the future when I get tired of iOS and switching back to Android and everything, but there are definitely some features that I'll most likely not want to give up, and it just may end up making me keep my iPhone 7 Plus a little longer. If there's one thing Apple always gets right, it's user experience, and that kicks off the first thing, which has to do with 3D Touch. So 3D Touch by itself is usually ignored by me for most of the time, but there's one thing that I feel extremely hard to give up, and that's force touching the keyboard to move the cursor around. Sure, with Android you can press and drag on the spacebar in the Google keyboard to move left and right, but on iOS with 3D Touch, you can just place the cursor literally wherever you want, not just left and right. Another huge thing for me is HomeKit. I'm a big fan of turning lights on and off from your smartphone, especially when it's on a budget. I have LIFX bulbs and a generic cheap LED strip and receiver from eBay. With Android, you'd have to use the respective applications separately to control these or talk to the Google Assistant. However, with a quick configuration of some software on a Raspberry Pi, it's ridiculously easy to make these HomeKit compatible, which means not only controlling them with Siri, but being able to swipe up the control center and control them OS-wide. I know I've been slacking lately with my Instagram game, but portrait mode is another thing that makes me feel hard about gravitating away from iOS. I know there are apps for Android that do the same exact thing, or camera modes, but it doesn't beat opening the stock camera, swiping once and just taking a photo. Of course, it's still in beta, but the photos look so beautiful, and it's the seamless experience that just gets me every single time. Also, while we're on the topic of the camera, the implementation of 3D Touch and live photos is so convenient and useful, especially if there's a cute little baby always running around your house. Owning a Mac is another reason it would be hard for me to switch. Not a very huge one, but for example, I use Lightroom to edit my photos for Instagram, and being able to just airdrop files and photos to and from my Mac and iPhone, literally without doing any work at all or installing any app or program, it just makes my life so easy. So as you probably noticed, most of these aren't just about the functionality, but just the way that that functionality was implemented into the operating system with the convenience of the user in mind. So if you're an iPhone user, be sure to comment below or tweet me and let me know what's your favorite thing about your iPhone. And if you're an Android user, don't worry, I'll be back to the dark side soon enough.